Hi Evan, this is Keaton Everett with ABC, going over your pitching video from camp. Going to go through and talk about your mechanics and your delivery and kind of break it down in a couple spots to kind of show you, ways to sort of maximize your delivery, make you nice and consistent. But basically for you and with a lot of the younger kids is just to utilize more of that lower body, so as you get older, as you get stronger, it's going to be a lot easier for you to really generate that power, because that's where all that power comes from, all that velocity comes from, is that lower body that comes from those hips. So we got to make sure that we're utilizing that a little bit more, and we'll go through and talk a little bit about that. So basically, we'll look first at your setup. How you start dictates so much how you finish. It's just important to look at. So, right off the bat, good. Eyes are on the target the whole time. All right, that's good to see. All right. Now, basically, starting is so important because we got to get the timing right. We got to make sure we're breaking our hands at the same time, we're repeating our delivery. But the biggest thing is staying over that back leg. All right. So what I'm going to do here is basically draw a line over your head, and then draw a line sort of through the midline of your body, sort of where your spine would be. All right. And so, as you can see, you're staying over that back leg pretty good, all right? You're not rushing forward, so you're doing a good job of staying over your back foot, all right? So now the whole timing deal is once this leg gets to its highest point, all right, this is where everything needs to start. This is where everything needs to happen. What I mean by start, we got to see the ball come out of the glove, we got to see this knee start to go down, and we got to see these hips start to go forward. And this all needs to happen at the exact same time, all right? So you see, as we kink forward, you can see your hands haven't broke till right here, all right, and your knees starting to get out in front of your hips. So basically, you're leading with your knee and your foot, all right, and you're breaking your hands late, all right. Back here, we got to make sure that our hips start everything. We want the hips to start going forward first to generate that power, to generate that torque. And so we need those hips to gain ground. We need those hips to get active, to get more dynamic. And so basically through this start, all right, to buy ourselves some more time to get our hips to lead, is we got to make sure that we're not rotating this hip, backwards. We want to try to make sure that we're keeping our knee and our hip neutral, meaning we're just sort of lifting with our knee. You think like you have a string on your knee or something and someone's pulling it up. All right, we're not just moving the foot back. We're sort of pulling that knee up and diagonally back. All right, so it gets into this position here. All right, where we're right here, and that foot's just kind of dangling down over that back foot. All right, what that does, that just buys you more time, because really this foot back here is just kind of giving you that false sense that your hips are closed when they're really not. All right, so try to get that foot, back here, get that foot sort of perpendicular to the ground over that back foot, but get more movement with that knee backwards. All right. Next thing too, to help with that timing, bump those hands down a little bit lower, and so that you can get that timing, because once that knee starts to go down, once those hips start to go forward, that ball's got to be coming out of the glove. And so when you start it up high, it's got more path, it kind of has more distance to travel down, and then you get to a point where it's harder to time, and it's just a lot more inconsistencies with your delivery. So you just got to make sure that we're back down here. All right, get that knee back over that back foot, and so now everything's in that position to get those hips going forward. All right, so as you're coming through that delivery, you're going to start seeing yourself at this position. You're still going to see that knee and that foot back here somewhere. All right, and then as you get farther down, now that foot's starting to pop out. Maybe it's here. And then you're starting to kick out and getting ready to land. And then at foot strike, you're going to see that front foot. Maybe another foot length down. It's going to be popped down a little bit more towards that catcher, and you're going to start seeing that, maybe something like this. So we just got to make sure that we're getting this upper body and these hips. Basically, this picture is we got to get them moving quicker down the mound, farther down the mound, and that'll just get all that energy stored up in those hips and create more velocity. So just lead with that hip. Just think about taking that hip bone or that back pocket, take it right towards the catcher, and that'll create a whole lot more energy for you. All right. So now, next part we look at is called foot strike. So once that front foot hits the ground, which is right here, we get a look at what we're doing. All right. I already kind of mentioned how we need to get farther down the mound. All right. So a good sort of indication is just take a look at, maybe do 5 or 6 feet lengths, one over the other, and mark off a landing spot. Just try to get to a point where, you can just kind of gives you a general idea of sort of a good starting point. So the more we can get out over that, stride out down the mound, the more energy we're going to be able to store it back here, all right, which is going to translate to more velocity, all right. So now the next part, now we're going to focus in on this upper body, all right. So you can see here with your arm, that glove's kind of down, but basically that elbow's down. We want to try to get that elbow up to around shoulder height, but keep that glove out there. So you're doing good at keeping your glove out over your front foot. Now just get that elbow up a little bit, and what that does is that helps you stay back a little bit more, and it helps you stay back in your hips a little bit more. It just kind of acts like a, kind of like a counterbalance weight. So you can get that elbow up there, help your body stay back. One thing too with watching this ball path is make sure that you let this hand get behind the ball a little bit more. So what I mean by that is you can see your fingers are on top of the ball. We want to try to get them on the inside part of the ball, so back here. All right. So then as you come through your foot strike, your hands are you're basically behind the ball right now. We want them to be on the other side. All right. We want them to be on the other side to almost behind it. So you're just kind of behind the ball. You're just not getting that torque in that wrist. And so just kind of watch that path as you kind of want that ball to kind of come up, up and around just with the hands. If you're keeping the hand on the back side of the ball, you're just going to push it. You got to make sure you let that thumb kind of go out towards that second base side. Then as you come up, it's kind of facing that third base side. And that just gets you in a little bit better position, So again, at foot strike, just pop this elbow up here. Keep that glove out over that front side, which you're doing well. All right, now through release, I remember I talked about that elbow staying up a little bit longer. What that's going to do is through this release, you can see how you're starting to bend that posture. All right, you're starting to bend that waist. What that's going to do is keep you kind of straight up a little bit more to really work on that torque and that separation between your hips. So you're getting pretty good. You're getting close, and we want that the hips to go forward first before the upper body, and you can see that there's just a little bit of hips first and then the shoulder, but they're still pretty much rotating at the same time. And again, that's something that will come easier with age. But the more you can stay back here, the easier it's going to be to let the hips go through first. Point here, and then get that upper body back in that position we drew, back there a few frames ago. All right, and then through that release, the more you can get through, right here, you're doing a pretty good job. You're releasing out, sort of over that knee. The more we can get in those legs, we're going to start seeing you drive all the way off that back foot. That back foot's still going to be on the ground through release, and you're going to start seeing that leg straighten up. You're going to get farther out over that front foot. So now maybe you're out here a little bit out over that foot, and so you picked up, another 6 to 8 inches of release point. Now the ball goes from going kind of flat to now we're getting some more angle on it. So it's just a more powerful position. You're utilizing more of that body, but you have a pretty good sort of foundation for your mechanics and kind of the way your body works. Now it's just a matter of just incorporating more legs, getting everything going quicker, getting everything staying closed longer down the mound to really maximize everything. So especially as you get older, get stronger, that'll be a lot easier. So, hopefully you're able to kind of take a few things away from this and work on them this off season. But thanks for making it out to camp. Hopefully you had a great time, and we look forward to seeing you again with ABC.